So, there's a lot of misinformation regarding nunchucks on the internet today. Most of the practitioners who demonstrate it and choose to create a professional opinion on them blame it on the weapon when more times than not, it's their crappy technique and misuse of the weapon that forms this odd opinion.
No experience in. Let me just say, when you go out and stuff, here, there.
Baba Booey.
As a practitioner of 16 years using a nunchuck and as a martial artist, I'm going to tell you today the advantages to the nunchuck that you may not have known about, what these people may have gotten wrong, what they may have gotten right about the nunchuck, and how you can correctly use it so that you might choose it over a stick in your possible street fight. And I'm going to show you the secrets behind this beautiful traditional weapon based out of Okinawa. One of the biggest accusations made against nunchucks is that they can't pack as much power as, let's say, a stick. So, how we properly strike with a short stick involve the shoulder, involve the body, and we head straight for the target. So that's how I'm going to demonstrate it here at full power. Here is what a stick sounds like. Now, let's hear the nunchuck, both at full power. I don't know if you could hear a power difference there, but I would say that they were relatively similar. One of the biggest complaints I've heard from these practitioners or experienced users of the nunchucks or people who claim to understand them is, well, nobody knows how to hold it right. One person says this way, another person says the other way. Oh my goodness, come on. Just like with any weapon, it's preference. It's preference. And different preferences offer you different advantages. So, let's say you're a nunchucker who likes to trick, who likes to spin this stuff around like this, okay? In that case, we're gonna wanna hold it as close to the top as we can, or 3/4 up. That is the most advantageous position for speed, coordination, and tricking. Okay? If we switch to the middle of the nunchuck here, we gain the advantage of a little bit more power. We maintain some of that speed and we maintain quite a bit of control, but we lose a little bit of it. If we move down to the bottom, we gain a lot of power, but we lose a lot of control. And tricking at this point in time, when we hold it at the bottom of the nunchuck, is almost impossible. And lo and behold, the person who cared the most about street fighting and how to survive in a real situation, Bruce Lee himself, preferred the bottom grip. If you view him in any of his movies, he will be holding it in the front grip or the back grip. Okay, and another big accusation made against nunchucks is that you can't hit solid objects like it. Granted, humans aren't entirely solid, but you can't practice striking with it because it bounces off and hits you? Okay, I see where you're coming from with that, but if you follow through on every single one of your strikes and you practice safely at a slow speed, and you understand the weapon, and you understand the way that it moves, it's very easy to strike anything almost completely solid with a pair of nunchucks with almost any strike. Cause a lot of damage and not hurt yourself. I'm going to demonstrate here a bunch of combinations of different strikes you can do, and I won't hit myself. You guys can watch yourself. What? Nunchucks aren't a weapon that you can just pick up with no experience and hurt somebody with. You're most likely going to hurt yourself before you hurt anybody else. And with that comes the fear of the unknown with nunchucks. Every beginner will be slow oftentimes because they're scared. And you should start out slow. They are a dangerous weapon to yourself if you don't understand how to use them. This is another thing that makes them effective in a street situation. People don't understand them. No matter what position you're in, with a pair of nunchucks, you can almost strike from anywhere. I can strike you from here, I can strike you from here, I can strike you from here, I can strike you from here. You take one step towards me, boom! Tell me honestly, would you really want to approach a piece of hardwood oak spinning like this in front of somebody? You tell me. You tell me. They're a scary weapon. To somebody who doesn't understand them, they're a scary weapon. And I'm not saying that these are the best weapon to ever exist and that you can take this against a sword and that you can take this against short swords or you can take this against a spear, but they are a really effective weapon for short range to medium range combat. And if you're fighting somebody inexperienced, you have a major upper hand. Not only are they scared of them, but if you know how to use them properly, you can catch them off guard almost anywhere. Now, a sad thing to these traditional weapons is that defense is almost non-existent with these. Defense is non-existent with this weapon. People claim that you can trap weapons or block a sword like this if you had a chain. Get out of here. No, you can't. You want to die? Do it. The only thing that I can think of, even in the 1% that it might work, is if you're against somebody with a staff of some kind, a broom maybe, and they try and stab you in your gut, and you're able to catch it and move it to the side. But even then, that's like less than 1%. I would never try it. So yeah, defense is essentially non-existent with these. And anybody who tells you that you can grapple with these is on crack.
Get some help.
Okay? You cannot strangle somebody with these like this. If I'm trying to strangle them like this, no. Never try that. You can't grapple limbs with this. You can't do that. Don't ever try it. The only thing these are good for is quick, powerful strikes. And the only thing you can do to dodge big attacks, let's say with a staff or a stick or a baseball bat, you gotta move. Okay? If I'm in my fighting stance and something comes towards me, I gotta move, okay? I gotta move to the side. I gotta move around them. I have to manage them. And when I see an opening, I move forward, boom! And when I get them, then I move in with a combination, okay? But defense is non-existent with these. You have to rely on your feet. And never think of these as an extension of a blocking thing. No. Another brilliant advantage to the nunchucks is that they don't really require loading up. When we're talking about a baseball bat, we're talking about this. We're talking about the motion before the strike, okay? Even if we're talking about a baton here, we're talking about the load before the strike. With a nunchuck, since we're relying on the whip of the chain, we don't necessarily have to load up. We could be a caveman and say, "Hurrah!" That's not how you use a nunchuck. And plus, if you strike like that, you're probably going to end up hurting yourself again. If I do what's considered a nunchuck jab, I didn't really have to load up there. Okay? No load up. Even if I want to strike across, okay, there's no load up there. There's no load up there. There's no way for you to necessarily predict I'm going to do it. Because I don't have to do this. Rah! Okay? Even if I'm up top, there was no load up there. It's all thanks to the rotation of the nunchuck creating the power with me pushing the weapon away from my body. Even if we're here, okay? I go inside here. I don't really have to load up. 1, don't have to load up. Don't have to load up again. 2, okay? Don't have to load up again. 3, okay? Strikes can come from anywhere at any time, and you don't have to load up. Adding on to my points about the differentiation of power between these two weapons here, let's talk about the stick for a second, okay? So when we're striking with a solid object like this, we have directional force and we have rotational force coming through the shoulder and coming through the body, okay? It's a very powerful weapon. But when we're talking about the nunchuck, not only are we talking about directional force and rotational force, but because this has a link in the middle, we are also getting centrifugal force, increasing the power of the weapon on the target. If you ever know how strong whips can be, just think of that similar to a nunchuck, right? So we release, and the weapon begins to whip towards the opponent and creates a very powerful snap. It's not like a thud. It's not like a thud of a stick. It's a whack. It's a snap. Now, one of these points that these practitioners bring up is, oh, but if you get too close to a person, nunchucks become useless. They lose all of their leverage and the chain wraps around the target. If you've ever handled any other weapon in your life, you would know that that occurs with every other weapon ever made. And then you have to change the strategy of the weapon. If we have a sword here, this is based on a katana, but we're going to use it as an example. So, of course, my ideal cutting range here is like this. It's right around here, okay? But, of course, if I get this close or the person charges me, can I cut? I can, but not very well. That's the same with all weapons. Not only do I lose leverage, but now I lose cutting area. But of course, a weapons practitioner would tell you if somebody invades your space like this, you gotta hit them. Hit them with the blunt end of the weapon. Now, newsflash, you can do this with a nunchuck as well. Let's say, whatever. Let's say this guy chooses to charge me, and we end up in this range here, and he's trying to throw me or whatever. I can use one, and I can hit him in the eye. Okay, I can hit him in the eye, I can hit him in the ear, I can hit him in the neck, I'm pretty sure they won't like that. And if you get 2, even better, more weight. Boom, okay? Boom. You don't hold back. If you're this close, boom, right in the ear. You don't hold back, and I'm sure they'll want to get away. And as soon as you get away, you hit them right across the face. Oh, didn't hit myself. Magical, isn't it? Now, if we're talking in terms of concealment, right here I have a 2-foot stick baton, brilliant for striking, but I can't really conceal it in my jacket, and I can't really conceal it on my belt without being obviously noticed. There are retractable batons, and they are quite brilliant. You can put them in a pocket, you can put them almost anywhere. They're very concealable, but nunchucks can too be very concealable. For example, in this clip, you probably didn't even know I had one on me. It was just sitting in my back belt right here, okay? So concealable, so much power, and an intimidating weapon, to say the least. Nunchucks are very concealable, very fast, and very hard-hitting. And if you ever questioned the lethality of this weapon, just have a look at our friends at Zombie Go Boom over there.
I mean, I'm seeing blood. That means most definitely penetrated. We probably have shards of skull that have broken off and popped this thing in the brain. Putty in my hands.
If these weapons were truly as useless as many claim, they wouldn't have lasted this long. They'd be lost to the sands of time. But they've been modernized and considered a lethal weapon in many countries, which is why they've been banned, and as you saw in the clip before, they can smash a human brain. I don't think I need to explain much about a hard piece of oak flying at your head, or a hard piece of steel flying at your head from the end of a chain. It's rather obvious the kind of damage that a weapon like this can do. I beg you not to listen to people online, but rather do your research, watch experienced people talk about this weapon, and try it yourself. If you master this weapon and you master the way it moves around your body, it can truly be an amazing tool to a martial artist. When learning the nunchucks, you have to be super careful, especially if you're learning with a hardwood or a hard object nunchuck. When I teach hardwood nunchuck, I tell the user to go super slow. Okay? You really want to feel when the object bounces and how you can make it not hurt you. It's normal when you're learning to, get a bonk on the head or get a little a hit there, but when you're practicing any other weapon, when do you not occasionally bonk yourself? As I said, a little bonk and a hit is normal. If you chip a tooth, or if you lose a tooth, or if you hit your frickin' face, somebody's either teaching you wrong, or you're an excited child who just grabbed a nunchuck and thought they could do something amazing. Being a professional martial artist in the modern day requires a couple things. One, it requires that you're open-minded. 2, it requires that you look into any matters that you plan on educating a large mass of people on. You can't just have a year or 2 of experience in a weapon, especially if you were younger, and then look back on it and try and create this ideology that it's garbage. As modern day martial artists, we need to educate ourselves in all arts, in all cultures, and create an opinion based upon logic. And not only while creating an opinion based on logic, it needs to be in respect of the culture too. Respect, why did this culture keep this around? Why is this significant to this culture? We can't go slamming something that has been around for a long time and been important to a group of people that we're not a part of. We need to do our best to respect other cultures and respect their arts. We shouldn't be throwing weapons on the ground.
Nunchucks are garbage, man!
Okay?
Like,
No,
seriously!
That's not respectful. I wouldn't make an hour-and-a-half long video explaining why something I did for a year when I was younger is trash and garbage. Otherwise, you'd be hearing me talk about how soccer is a garbage sport, which is not the case. I only did it for a year and it just didn't interest me. It's a fantastic sport. But my point is that you can't slam something you only spent a year or 2 learning. It's just not fair to the sport, to the art, and to the culture. So please like and share this video with all of your friends so that we can spread the word that the nunchucks are not a useless weapon, they are not garbage, but rather they can be extremely lethal when in the hands of an experienced practitioner who cares about the weapon. Thanks for watching, and I hope you all have a damn good day.